Our podcast is a part of the World Podcast Network, now with over 1,000 podcasts. Visit the World Podcast Network at worldpodcast.network to listen to podcasts in over 12 genres. Come vote our podcast episodes up and help us rise on the leaderboard. If you have a podcast of your own, you can join for free. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be doing episode 4 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. But before we head into that, I'm not going to be any hot goss yet in this episode. I'm just trying to get through the episodes, but we'll have some hot goss in a future episode. But just quick announcement, and that's Patreon going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore. We're currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there. So you can try that before head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man of 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. But this month's documentary, what I believe is going to be Twin Flames, Escaping Twin Flames on Netflix. So that's going to be coming very soon. I think the first episode will be released up on Patreon and in the main feed um um next week. So I believe this was a 3-parter, if I'm correct, right? So the first episode of that documentary is available on the main feed. I think it's next week, or it might be the week after. Can't remember. But only the first episode. Episode 2 and 3 is only available on the Patreon. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/reality tea times 2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/reality tea times 2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. Okay, let's jump into the reason we are here, and that is episode 4 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So, poor Layla, y'all. She still has not had an orgasm. This girl is, was she 24, 23, 24? She hasn't yet explored that. And you know what? I don't think that's crazy. I don't. I think for me, I feel like I didn't truly, I mean, maybe a half orgasm with my ex-husband. I mean, sex was great, don't get me wrong, but I think a true mind-boggling orgasm, that wasn't until my current boyfriend. So it's I don't think it's crazy. And again, I met him when I was 26, so and it didn't even happen right away. So I think Like, that's not necessarily crazy that she hasn't yet. Give it a couple years, she'll get there. So, her boyfriend, who is seems his family anyway, seems to be really high up in the church, don't even know he ain't a virgin. They do now. They do now. So, Michaela Taylor and Macy are at lunch. Taylor and Dakota, we hear, are still fighting. What else is new? They tell her, y'all need to break up. No shit. Tell me why. Spoiler alert, y'all, for those who haven't gone any further than this episode or whatever. The fact that it takes them a million episodes to get to that point is ridiculous. Anyways, they sorry, but she doesn't know where they stand at this point. And we'll kind of get more on the complications of the relationship really soon. But Macy explains, listen, y'all, I got two confessions. Well, if you know anything about her confessions, you know this can't be good. She says one of those confessions was, I slept with Demi's husband while she was away. Away where? Away in Italy? Away where? Oh no. Michaela straight up says, I don't know if I believe this. Honestly, from what have heard about Brett, Brett's the hottest husband there, but maybe this is something about me and I'm trash because I have heard some things. Now, if no one doesn't know this, I can't take credit. I learned this from reality gaze, but from what I understand, Brett, we used to be married. Demi was their au pair, and he ended up cheating on his wife with Demi. Bada bing, bada boom. He divorces his ex-wife and marries Demi. Now, once a cheater, always a cheater. That's all I'm gonna say. So Jen, we're changing course here. Jen is at Miranda's, and Jen asks, "When did you know that you were done? Done with mom talk?" Is what she's asking. Jen, she is struggling, when it comes to the girls, and I guess she kind of just wants to know when is it okay to walk away. And she feels like being a part of mom talk is straining her marriage. I would say yes, but then I would also say this. If Zach truly says, I don't want to get involved, I want to support whatever you do, wouldn't he let that happen? Let her come to the conclusion on her own if that's, what would need to happen. I'm just saying. Anyways, we see some husbands golfing. We got Zach, Brett, and Jordan. Uh-oh. Zach wants to confront them to talk about the whole Chippendales of it all. That's what he wants to do. So he says, if you respected me, fuck off. But if you respected me or my relationship, you would have let me know why. We talked about it already in the last episode. I think they thought, listen, our wives were telling us what was going on, so we figure your wife is doing the same thing. Like, we're not going to get involved in that. But he says, like, you clearly knew, but oh no shit. Of course they knew. And then 10 minutes later, like, you're assaulting someone, directing at Brett. So we talked about this. Just in case we need the refresher, I think it was a couple episodes ago. Just in case we need the refresher, Brett literally freaked the fuck out at Chase for something very minor, in my opinion, but Demi felt threatened, runs to Brett, and Brett literally is ready to punch Chase in the face. I think that rhymed. So this is what he's talking about, which is like, okay, even if it actually was as serious as Demi was portraying it to be, maybe don't question Brett's reasonings for doing that because I think him going out there and confronting this man who, as far as he knows, laid hands inappropriately on his wife, that's what you would do, right? Um, and Jordan's like, nope, 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 nope. I stand by that. And Jordan says, my understanding, listen, is this. Jen knew she needs to be accountable on her part. That is true because I I talked about this already in the last episode. I don't believe she knew that they were going to dance on her, unless I missed something. But I do know she knew that they were going to do this. So she had an inkling that something, at the very minimum, which would have been this dancing randomly on whoever was going to be the thing that happened. Um, so she does need to have some accountability on not telling him. But they do admit, okay, yeah, sure, we could have said something, which is like, I don't see the point of that, but anyways, Dakota, moving on now. Dakota did go to therapy. Because I think she was kind of, I didn't say this before, she was kind of talking about the fact that I have therapy. Either way, I'll be there, but like he's supposed to come too. So like we'll see what kind of happens. So he does show up. And she says, listen, I needed you to defend me with the whole chase of it all. Um, I'm the mother of your child, so that's kind of like where she's coming from. He says, if you wanted anything to do with me, but see, that's not the point you're trying to make. Whether or not I want anything to do with you, romantically speaking, I am still the mother of your child. So you could have defended me or had my back, and you didn't. That's the point she's trying to make, and I'm with her all the way. Like, I am. And she says, well, this part, this part was maybe not great, but I think on the one hand, she's trying to make her get her point across. On the next hand, it's like, well, it's another example of how you suck, sir. But anyways, she says, well, my ex would have defended me. Damn. She also talks about her dad's comment during therapy, which sucked. We talked about it. This was it the first episode? First or second episode. We talked about it, but I'll just say it again. Trigger warning for white male privilege, or not really privilege, but just misogyny. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for, just misogyny. When Taylor was talking about the course of her and Dakota's relationship and the fact that he would spend days with Jenna and nights with her stepfather sat there and literally said, well, you literally just said that he would spend nights with you. You only knew him for 3 days. So what does that say about you? Ugh. Anyways, he says, like, I don't have an issue with you processing things, but what I have been asking for is for forgiveness. Forgiveness is more than saying sorry. Forgiveness. Name the movie. Um, but yeah, forgiveness is great and everything, but it's not going to change, I think, like the core reason why Taylor is the way she is right now. So, and again, you're not owed forgiveness. You lied at the end of the day. Bottom line, bare minimum, you lied to Taylor. So you don't just get forgiveness because you think you deserve it. And he's kind of saying like he just wants like the space to be there for her, whatever. So Demi and Jesse are throwing Layla a sex party to help her achieve an orgasm. We actually have a sex coach slash sexologist. What is a sexologist? That's like a mixologist. Do you mix sex stuff? I don't know. Anyway, her name is Erica, bless her heart. We got dildos, we got chains, whips, butt plugs. You get a sex toy, and you get a sex toy, and everybody gets a sex toy. So that everybody can achieve an orgasm. Anyways, we got an ass cake. The only thing the ass cake can't do is twerk. But anyways, and Miranda's here too to partake in the sex party. Oh wait, that's a little close to home because we have Taylor and Miranda, who both went to the sex parties. Anyways, the men of the wives in the meantime are doing dad talk. What's dad talk? Did we know about dad talk before? Anyways, back at the sex party because that's more fun than dad talk. We gotta talk about Jen before Jen gets here. Did she go? Oh, she did go. Miranda says, Jen came over kind of asking a lot of questions about my divorce. So she was asking about the divorce. Or maybe she was asking about the divorce on Mom Talk. Or maybe she was asking about both. I don't know. Miranda says, that she wished she knew more. Um, and it's funny that Jessie says, well, her involvement was a surprise, but then Layla's like, I don't believe anything that she says because she knew about it. And this is in terms of the Chippendales and the whole bit. Like, we see, the lines being drawn here. But then we see the video again of, oh, that's like a good idea, whatever. And I mentioned this before, but we never see them say that we're going to have them dance on you. Because I really wish they did. Because then you know, I think that's more important than, we're bringing Chippendales dancers and, how do you think about this? I really think they should have asked her, we want them to dance on you. How do you feel about that? And if she turned around and had the same damn energy, then that's one thing. We can use that. But the fact that we don't have that and we don't know where her response would have been, I have to go based on what I have. And what I have is she knew there was going to be a Chippendales routine. She didn't know there was going to be an actual Chippendales dancer, though. But she knew that there was going to be some Chippendales routine. She did not know that they were going to be, dancing on her. Anyways, Jen is here. So let's get this party started. Some of them have never been in a sex shop before. And I'm over here being like, well, damn. I've been in a sex shop, I don't know, maybe 6 times in my adult life. I'm trash. No, I'm not. I'm fine. So she asks the women, like, what turns you on? The most. And Taylor likes fantasy. Miranda likes dirty talk. Michaela likes smells, like good smells, obviously. Me, I think what I like is the idea of that turns me on. I'm, you know, bringing you into my world. I might release this episode on Patreon and bleep that out. You know what? That is exactly what I'm going to do. The bleeped part is only going to be on Patreon. So if you want to know what I said, head over to Patreon. So they say, what about you, Layla? For her, she's like, is that the man is enjoying it? Which, listen, that is fine. I'm the same way. I like the idea of, but I wouldn't say it's the thing that turns me on, though. If you want to know what that is, you can have it on Patreon. Um, but I I enjoy my man being pleased, but it's not about me, right? For me, it is what I said, head over to Patreon. But um, they do say to her, okay, that's about him, but what about you? What is it about you that you like? And she literally is like, well, I don't know. She doesn't know. They have to then start doing things on each other. Miranda whips Layla with a whip. Then Layla gets hands to feet cuffs to hog tie in a situation, instead of cuffs. But Layla has made me learn something, which is great. If anything, it opens up her little mind to be like, what does turn me on? And number two is like, this might turn me on. Um, she says, I kind of maybe learned that I like it hard and rough. And you know what? In the words of Lady Gaga, if it's not rough, it isn't fun. Words I've been living by since I was in my 20s. Um, yeah, that's it. Just like, so after all of that, we then asked Jen, so how are things with you and Zach? Really? Really? She then says, which is again kind of the contradiction of you'll say in front of Zach that everything is okay, but behind his back, you'll say it's not okay. Now, I do think that is a trauma response. She has to, not as much that, well, maybe, yeah, probably that, but it's all about self preservation. I can't say the truth in front of Zach because it's going to be a problem for me. So I do it when he's not around. And I wish that, I don't know how I would respond in a situation. I feel like I would have probably missed it as well. But it's kind of like, okay, you know how this man reacted about Chippendales last time. And Jesse, I think, again, being a person who has been in abusive relationships, might see the sides a little bit more of a woman who's trying to self preserve. And she's missing it. And I do, you know what? I blame Demi or Demi, whatever. Anyway, she says, we're good today. We're good today. All right. Macy is then throwing a dinner to celebrate her book deal that she got. And Whitney's here. And to me, does look a bit jealous of Macy, I guess, getting this book deal. And we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see a lot of Demi being jealous about someone's success, someone's achievements, because I think she feels like they should be her achievements, her goals that are being reached. And it's very selfish. It's very, very, very selfish, selfish way of thinking. And then she says, I'm also hosting the celebrity paper ball trip. This is Macy says in Arizona. I have questions. We'll save it for that episode. So what about a girls trip? I think we're all kind of thinking, the last one didn't go so good. Didn't go good. We had Jen being MIA for a while. We got men yelling at us. Taylor was very hugely pregnant. Like she was like 15 months pregnant at that point. And it's like it didn't go good then. I don't know if it's gonna go good now. And then we kind of do this kind of truth box type situation, even though it's not a truth box. It was worded very differently, but that's basically what it feels like to me. I don't go through all of the things that were said except for this last one. Someone ended up writing, I think Jen is fake. Now, I definitely think Layla's the one that wrote it. I thought that immediately at the time. I think we do know who did it, but at this point we don't know yet. But I definitely felt like I know who this is. I do. And the reason I think it's Layla is because she's a follower. I do. I think she's a follower. I don't. She's a backbone. Anyway, that is it for episode 4. We'll be back. I believe, yeah, tomorrow with another episode. But until then, that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, and Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, dot podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.